So the final boss of Chapter 24 is Material H. Despite it not being a new enemy, it here has a different way of fighting from what you might be used to. There is a good chance you might struggle against this boss, so let's just break it down. Here's how it works. Material H starts the fight by summoning a shield and summon 12 raptures. When that shield is up, you won't be able to damage it. You need to destroy all raptures first, and then the shield will be down. Then, we switch to the phase where you can finally do some damage to Material H. Here, while you're attacking, you need to pay attention for two things. First one are the bombs that are slowly being fired at you. These don't damage you that badly, so it's okay if a few hit you, but on the long run, you will want to keep your HP and cover. Second thing you need to pay attention to are the parts that appear at random places and that you will need to destroy. It happened to me that sometimes I missed the timing on one and still survived. But generally, if you fail even one, this spells the death of one of your units. In total, after 4 parts have appeared and have been destroyed, Material H will summon back its shield, and you will have to do the same rotation you've done before. After reaching a certain amount of health, around 40 to 50 life bars, Material H will switch to its final phase. In this phase, Material H starts by firing 2 lasers to your entire team. They hurt pretty bad. Eventually you can consider taking cover to reduce their damage. Then, 5 parts will appear. You need to destroy them, otherwise Material H will fire 2 lasers at you. Although even if you manage to destroy all 5 of them, at the end of this rotation, the boss will fire 2 lasers at you regardless. This is basically a late-game endurance run to see which one of you will die before the other one. Obviously, added to all of this is a tight timer which has good chances of being done before either you or the boss are killed. So here's a quick analysis of the strategy. What's important against this enemy is to be able to DPS it as often as you can, which means 2 things. You have to end its shield phase as fast as you can. You have to keep his other phase going for as long as you can. So here's how you can easily control that. First, you need to have a Nikke with a full-screen damaging burst. Obviously, if you have Scarlet, then you're good to go, but in case you don't have her, you have other choices such as Maiden, Private, and Heron. The reason for that is simple. You will always want to use that unit's burst after the shield has been cast, and the 12 raptures have arrived, because your objective is to get rid of these as fast as you can, and going at it manually can make you lose precious seconds. Any second these raptures are still alive, Material H does not take any damage, so it's a really important point. Then, during the other phase, you need to have some self-control, meaning you shouldn't just destroy the circles as soon as they happen, because doing so makes this phase last shorter. And again, since it's the only part of the fight where you can hurt Material H, you want it to last as long as possible. Personally, my objective was to always wait for the circle to reach halfway before destroying it. Doing that to all 4 of the parts should be enough time for you to finish the burst you started against the 12 raptures, then reach another burst, and be about to finish it when Material H casts another shield. That way, you should be able to swiftly build up another burst to wipe off the 12 raptures again and continue your rotation. Just as a precaution, be ready to manually control the burst yourself to prevent the attack from missing the 12 raptures entirely. For the last phase, you actually have to follow a similar strategy. As determined, Material H will always fire 2 lasers when reaching that phase, so pay attention to your health at this point. But more importantly, the boss will again fire 2 lasers once you have destroyed all 5 parts coming up next. So as you can guess, once again you will need to have some self-control and let these circles deplete as much as you can before destroying them, as it will allow you to delay as best as you can the next laser attack. If your team is strong enough and your reflexes are on point, doing a few of these rotations should be enough for you to defeat that boss and end Chapter 24. Obviously, the team I've used is very strong, and not everyone can build such a team. But here is what I personally advise. Have a Nikke with a screen wipe burst, as stated earlier, to get rid of the 12 raptures. Have a Nikke with cooldown reduction, preferably leader, of course, but others might do the trick. That way your burst rotation will be secured. Have a healer. As much as most of the damage in the fight is something you can directly deal with yourself, this is obviously a different story once you reach the last phase, where if you don't heal between the first 2 lasers and the next 2 coming up, it might be very difficult for you to keep your team alive. I personally ended the fight with 1 unit down despite using both Leader and Blanc for protection. I hope this helps, and that you can enjoy the end of Chapter 24.